will you consider Dubai as an alternative, the DIFC?
So we have a long history of inserting DIFC in our contracts. I have my senior partner here, who is actually responsible for the memorandum of guidance that DIFC court signed with the High Court of Kenya all the way back in 2014. In the olden days, what I call the olden days, when it was DIFC-LCIA. So we used to actually use that, insert it into our contracts, and we were very happy to promote Dubai as an alternative to London. For us, we're common law, so London, less so Paris, less expensive, easier to travel to, easier to get visas. And then there was this, we woke up one day and there was this divorce between DIFC and LCIA, and we're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to all our contracts? So I think now we're sort of like more cautious and saying, this is why it usually pays to have better relations with neighbors and look at emerging hubs within Africa. I think what we're waiting to look at is maybe the commitment, the long-term commitment to ADR and, more stability in terms of these types of clauses. So I think now, without defaulting necessarily to DIFC, we would certainly consider it for certain types of contracts. I think DIFC and ADGM would be very suitable when you have Chinese and African parties. And China is a huge investor. Like in Kenya, the Chinese have built our standard gauge railway, our highways. So they're massive investors in real estate. And I think there they would like us to go, towards their end. We would like to pull them more towards Africa. And so I think there, geographically, politically, Dubai is neutral. It doesn't have this perception of bias that Western centers have attached to them. So I think there, for certain, that makes a lot of sense to be using Dubai. Certainly as a venue, as a seat, it depends. I think a lot of these decisions will be informed by things like where are the assets, because normally if you start with the end in mind, you'll think, okay, we think the assets are in New York, and then you'll ask yourself, okay, what's going to make it easier to go after those assets? So I think it's certainly a good alternative. It is one of a number of alternatives. I'm affiliated, I'm a director on the Nairobi Center for International Arbitration, and that is actually got state backing, so we do have political will to grow Nairobi as a regional hub, but I'm also affiliated with the Hong Kong Center, and I think, again, in terms of travel, Kenya has essentially waived visas for all Africans, so Isaiah, next time, you're very welcome. Sami as well, they never have a problem getting to Kenya. But Hong Kong as well, I was very pleasantly surprised earlier this year when I went to ICA to find that as an African, I didn't need a visa. So I thought these are the things that do matter to council and to parties. Am I going to get there with the team I want and have in mind? I'm going to get frustrated. So I think, I think Dubai is doing many of the right things, but I think just based on the previous experience we had, we're probably going to be a little bit more cautious, and we're going to wait and see. And in the meantime, we're going to hope for Casablanca, Kigali, Nairobi, Lagos, all of these to come up, Cairo. So, and hopefully by then, we want to be spoiled for choice. I think often we don't feel, certainly as African Council, that we have as much choice as we should have, given the importance of the continent.